Hi, everyone. So welcome to From Prompt to Multi-Agent System, the evolution of our AI product. I took this picture, actually stole it from a post a guy named Lenny made. He has like a podcast, and he talks a lot about AI, but I think it like encapsulated, right? It's crazy. Everything is crazy. Products are coming out every day. Things are changing all the time. And I think the craziest thing is that we as engineers are used to building new things and modernizing other sectors, but suddenly they're modernizing us, right? They're digitizing us. They're replacing us. And everything is also moving very fast and has a lot of emotions into it. So I see it as a very crazy journey. So hopefully, after I sowed a little bit of anxiety to get your adrenaline up, a little bit about me, as it was told, principal engineer at Qodo. I'm an experienced leader with over 10 years of experience. I do public speaking, hence I'm here. I'm into domain-driven design, product management, and one geeky note about myself, I'm into board games, but the right amount. Like, I don't know if you ever met board game geeks, like my partner, that's too much, but I'm like just the right amount into it. So that's me. That's a QR to my LinkedIn. That's my main platform. So feel free. I will have it again at the end, but I'll give you a second if you want. Connect with me, follow me, do something, ask me about anything. Okay, moving on. Cool. So what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to talk about, I'm going to do a short intro, and then I'm going to talk about how we transferred from having an agent to an agentic agent. The word agent is very overloaded, but never mind. And afterwards, how we jumped into a multi-agent system, and a little bit on how to handle all this craziness. Okay. So to explain everything that I want to explain today, I have to share a little bit about Qodo. It's not going to be a sales pitch, but we are part of the craziness. Okay, we are an Israeli startup. We are building assistants that help developers across the SDLC. Our main focus is code review, but we also have code generation, and we have a CLI tool, and we're in the Git, and we're in the IDE. It's all that. Okay, so that basically sums it up. Okay, we are in your machine, we are in the cloud, we give you an MCP, we have a context engine, it's a very, very big factor of our system, and we have complementary features, right? Rules, background agents, MCPs, and we run on different types of deployment types. Okay, so this is for you to have some context as I'm starting to go deeper into the tech. Awesome. So let's start with agentifying our agents. So just to make it clear, Qodo existed before GPT 3.5. Okay, like when the company was at stealth, we were trying to figure out. I wasn't there, but I'll say we were trying to figure out that how we are going to give a coding agent, a testing agent to the customers inside the IDE. This is how we started, and then LLMs came out. Right? And when they came out, they had a very short, very small context window. And then what you needed to do pruning. So this is how we started. We needed to decide what's the most relevant information and pass only that into our agent inside the IDE. The next step was, the models, they started progressing. And suddenly, the context window increased. So we didn't need to prune, just like give it everything, right? But that created another problem, right? Because too much context is not a good thing. And this is why today we have a whole field called context engineering, right? Because we need to know how to give the best context to the agent to give the best results. And again, I'm talking about like 1 year ago-ish. Again, at some point in time, OpenAI presented the concept of tools. Okay, so OpenAI started to understand that they need to give a formal way to the people that consume their APIs, like a formal way to start collecting context in a dynamic manner. That's the point, and they gave the concept of tools, and you could configure tools, and basically then the agent could go and collect the information dynamically. And around that time, we at Qodo just told ourselves, okay, this is the right time for us. Instead of having an agent, we need to start being agentic. We need to start collecting context in a dynamic manner. And that's the, hello, yes, yeah, you're here. Okay, I was too excited she came in, I was distracted. Awesome. So this was about the time that we decided that we wanna also become agentic. And what happened is that, okay, we scheduled the meeting, let's do a kickoff, let's talk about architecture. And then this happens. The day we wake up in the morning and Anthropic presents MCPs and we're like, stop, what are we supposed to do? Because MCP is Model Context Protocol, a standard way to connecting AI assistants to where systems where their data lives. What is data? Data is context. So we see this and we start looking at the open source, right? And we start looking at Hacker News and hear the communities. And this is part of the challenge of building products that are LLM based. Now you have to understand, we're not a software company which has an LLM feature. We only have LLM features, you know, the software is around, right? So we start looking into it and we're going to the communities and reading about it. And we see that a lot of different communities are taking it in and we're like, we have to go for it. So we're going for it. And we chose to use MCP to implement, to transform our agent to being agentic. So this is roughly speaking what happened. So in the company, we support two different IDE types. We support VS Code and we support JetBrains. Now, each one of them is considered an MCP client, and inside each of them, you have an MCP server, which can either communicate with the local tools, okay, or even with remote tools. Like Jira, and we also had a backend component which did the agent orchestration itself and also had connections to an MCP server and remote tools. Okay, so this is basically the architecture that came out, and so we started implementing. There's an open source by Anthropic, this is code from it, and we go and we start to do the implementation. So I don't know how many of you have ever implemented something inside of an IDE. So VS Code is written in TypeScript and IntelliJ is written in Kotlin, different programming languages. And in the company, usually we develop things first inside of VS Code because this is our go-to. And we started doing that and things are going well, like it's working. Oh my God, it's amazing. But what happens is that once we decided to start implementing it inside of JetBrains, it doesn't work. Now, there's a learning point probably for us, right? Because apparently the open source runs node processes in the background, and TypeScript has node with it, Kotlin does not, and then it all failed. Now, you have to understand, for us, this is the product. We can't just tell, okay, so everyone download the plugin with Node and install Node. This is like a blocker for us to distribute our product, right? We can't do this. So we had to go to the drawing table and start thinking again. And we looked at the open source again and we saw the concept of custom transporters. So basically, out of the box, MCP comes with either a communication protocol of SDDIO for your local usage, right? If I'll go back, for your local SDDIO, and for your remote server, it's called SSE, server-side events, right? So you can choose either one, and we chose the right one according to the right situation, but we needed to come up with our own protocol that doesn't use the local node processing. So we decided to build our own. And this is a copy-paste from our code. All the code you're going to see here, it's not mumbo jumbo I created somehow. It's real snippets. I was looking for the presentation. So we defined a built-in tool and we defined an IDE MCP base server, and basically with that and the IDE transport, we were able to implement internal tools that are, instead of running in a different process, they are running inside our plugin. And this gave us the opportunity to give our customers some tools to start with, right? Because we didn't want to give them like a blank product. That's a bad experience. So we had to do that, and basically it worked, right? If someone wants to download the extension afterwards and add another new tool that, or MCP that does require the node processing, then it's a click and they have to do what they need to do to make it work, but that's fine, right? Because it was a proactive move. It doesn't block them from starting to use our product. So for us, it's like real product experience, all of these limitations. Okay, take a sip of water. Awesome. So the first step was MCP. Let's talk about LangGraph, because we have the agent orchestration in the backend. So what is LangGraph? Created by LangChain, open source AI agent framework designed to build, deploy, manage complex generative AI agent workflows. Basically, it helps you build the graph that you build the flow, inside of your agent. One of the, they keep modernizing all the time, a very good framework if you want to go read about that. And basically, when we started, if I'll touch base again to the complexities of building an LLM-based product, we can't look left, look right, and see like a bunch of examples of people who already solved this, right? It's all new. It's all innovation. It's in the tech, in the UX, like in the developers, in the skill set, in everything. So when we decided to do the first iteration of transforming to agentic, we decided to go with the concept of an opinionated agent. What does it mean? It means that we strictly define the paths that the agent can go to. If it's a graph, you have nodes, you have edges, and you basically really define from which node you can go to which node, right? So this is, again, I'll show you the code in a sec, but basically you come into a supervisor node. This is was the generic flow, and then you go to context collection node, task planning node, task execution, validation. You fail the validation, you go back. But everything you see here is very strictly defined, right? This was the code, because everything changes every 5 minutes. So this was really the code from back then, and you can really see the nodes, the edges, everything is defined. This is very opinionated, right? We didn't give the LLM a lot of freedom to choose when to take which step. So it worked fine, but this had its limitations. One of the limitations, a very big one, was that every new use case you wanna support, you need to go and very strictly implement. Now, it's not a new problem, right? We needed to orchestrate systems even before LLMs, right? We needed to build complex flows, and some architect or some developer would sit and define all the flows and ifs and else and systems and orchestrations and whatever. It's not new, right? But things in the AI world these days, the Gen AI, everything moves very fast. So we wanted to be more dynamic. And to be honest, we saw that also our competitors were moving to this direction, and it's also bringing very good results. And we said, okay, we have to go for it. And again, another one of the pain points. Competitors move at a very fast pace. So we moved to a new concept, which is called React Agent. React Agent is basically, you have a query, okay, you type something, right, and it goes in and it reasons, the LLM node reasons what it wants to do, it generates a tool list, it passes the tool list with description of what to do to the tool node executes it, collects context, and comes back. This is a lot more dynamic, right? This is not strict. Basically, the LLM can reason the path that it needs to do and just iterates until it knows we have reached action completed. So we wanted to move towards this, and to be honest, this is another small example. We just gave the node, the LLM node, the opportunity to choose the tool choices that they wanted, to choose the tools that he wants to use, right? Which is part of the things, also the tools that you choose is one of the limitations that you can give an LLM that is running. So in the end, we chose to go with a sort of 80-20 sort of approach. We did go with a React approach, but we did want to stay opinionated in some very specific tasks that we know are important enough for us to get right. For example, summarization. I'm sure you've seen yourself like talking in some sort of chat, right? I'm talking here about a coding agent in your IDE, you're chatting with it. At some point, he's like, okay, you're talking too much, I'm summarizing this, right? So this is what it does, and all sorts of different types of specialized nodes, and all the rest is very dynamic. Okay, so to be honest, this is where we're at here. Awesome. Am I talking too fast? No? Yeah. Okay, now the excitement. Okay, so I showed you in the beginning, we have a lot of different clients, a lot of different things in our system, but until now I was talking about a coding agent in our IDE. So let's take it one step further. So basically, we have an IDE, we have a Git, and we have a CLI, and all of these clients, different clients, can use different agents in order to perform either code review or different actions from the context engine. And we have, like, let's say the context engine, we expose it as an MCP also for customers, but also from the coding agent inside of the IDE, you can use an MCP to use the context engine. Like, you can use it from Cursor, you can use it from our agent. It's the same. Because people always ask me, why do you use MCPs internally? Why not just an API? Well, we expose it anyway, and it's a standard protocol for communication with the agents, so we do that. And this sort of starts to look like a multi-agent system, right? But when people say multi-agent systems, like today, they mean something else. Or there's like another even deeper layer to this concept. So basically, I could say that, like, in the past few months, we have been focusing a lot on our code review capabilities, right? And we had, for the code review, we had an agent, but it was like a general code review agent, right? So basically, it solves all of the different type of tasks that you could solve inside a code review action. Imagine it yourself. You have best practices, right? You know, if you need to go through, I don't know, you need to write it with a capital letter or lower letter, right? Or maybe you know that this is a bug, this is a logic bug. These are different tasks that needs to be done. And we understood that if we want to deepen the capabilities, we need to go deeper into the technology. So we went with a concept of a mixture of agents. Mixture of agents is it means an AI system where multiple specialized models work together with a routing mechanism that selects which agents handle each specific task. This is Sonnet 4.5. These are the best people today to cite definitions. I would check if that's true also on Google, but fine. So that's what it is. Basically, it's some sort of architecture with specialized tasks, specialized agents. So how does it look? The concept is also called deep agents. If you want to look, there's like different words that represent fairly similar things. But basically what we did is we implemented a bunch of sub-agent as tools. Now, for example, LangGraph has a full-on framework also to implement deep agents. But we are a production system. We can't just choose and go, you know, every day with the newest infrastructure that comes out. We have millions of active users per day, and we need to continue give them the right support, right? So we can't just go on with all the advancements that go, so we chose to solve it as tools. So we have master and sub-agent architecture. We have one agent for context collection, one for issue finding, meaning bugs, one for compliance. Let's say you want your rules, your best practices enforced, tickets enforced, all of that. And we end up with a judge, which has heuristics, but also as an LLM as a judge. at the end, and they use common tools because it's all code review tools they use in the process. Okay, so this is the system that we have built, and to be honest, it's fairly as simple as that. We use something very similar. Each one of them internally is some sort of a transformation from React agent, okay, like the issue agent on its own, the compliance agent on its own, and basically we have a review agent class, and you can choose to enable all of them, and then all of them run together. It's the same backend process. It's not something complex. This is spinning there in the cloud. This is spinning there in the cloud. These things are very complex to do in a good way, and also passing context in between the agents. It's complex tasks that we need to do. So we choose to keep it simple as we can, which is, by the way, also something we have to do. We can't go too complicated because then you can change things because everything is so dynamic. So this is how we took our agents to the next level there. And basically the specialized agents, each one of them has an evaluation of its own, and we can evaluate the whole agent on its own and see improvements. Okay. It sort of feels like I'm stopping here, right? And there's like I stopped in the middle, right? It's like, okay, we're here, you stop, like where's the thoughts, where's the summary, where's the like what am I taking with this? And to be honest, I mean, I sort of said it on the go, but this is in reality where we are. I built this presentation originally, I think 7 months ago, but so much has changed that for the conference I had to rewrite it with a lot of new things and a lot of advancements. And I'm assuming that I'm going to continue to do this presentation, and every 6 months or so I would have to rewrite it because this is how it is. So I want to talk a little bit about what we do as a company to stay on top of things, right? Because I think execution and delivery is a given, but what other things that you might not think about that we are doing? Okay, so first of all, we take part in communities. Okay, we are very active in a lot of different communities. We have a community manager. We do a lot of partnerships, and we read always like hacker news, and you have to be on top of it. You have to have the knowledge. And to be honest, like the engineers in the company, everyone are reading something, doing something, and always sharing internally, right? So this creates an engine of knowledge inside of the company because no one person can really keep up with everything that's going on. That's crazy. We do dog fooding. We use our own tools, right? We have to. It's not that we have to. Like we see it like it's a privilege as a company that builds tools for developers. We can actually dog food ourselves. So we do that, and we have a dog fooding channel, and I won't say we're brutal, but we're honest with insights that we share to each other. We do use competitors, several reasons. Different people like to use different tools, but also this is a way for us to see what the competition is doing, what type of technology is enabled, how UX is looking, how things are working. And to be honest, like as I see it, a lot of things are moving into like synergy in between tools, and you need to know how tools are interacting to take it to the next level. We have to sort of guess the future. It's a complication. I told you, like, MCP came out. We saw that a few communities decide to take it. They put up their own MCP servers, and we're like, okay, we just have to do it. We just have to go for it. And there were other alternatives with MCPs, by the way, that came out right about the same time, but the rest failed. And you can see, I don't know if you know, like the agent-to-agent protocol, which is not such a big thing like MCP. Okay, it didn't catch as much as MCP. So these are like things you have to guess, right? And basically you have to always keep on moving forward because yeah, everything in the market moves so fast. So to be honest, it's also like an emotional experience, like to be inside of it. I don't know how many of you like legit are working like on AI product areas that are shifting very quickly. You need to learn to live with it, right? It's like a small startup, but not only a small startup. It's a small startup inside of AI, but like also in coding assistance and stuff like this. It's all very crazy. So yeah, I guess that's that. Um, this is me. So this is again my QR, and if you want to talk, find me somewhere. And if you want to hit me up on LinkedIn, questions, I don't know, on architecture, Qodo, whatever, find me. That's it.